Hello, everyone. This is Frank Nunez, and welcome to Teachly University. And in this lecture today, we're going to be discussing Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich for 2024. So, as of the creation of this lecture, we're beginning 2024. And of course, for all of us, we all have our New Year's resolutions and goals and things we wish to accomplish. And I think to start the year, I really would like to discuss Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich because I think, in my opinion, this is one of the best personal growth books that has ever been written because there's so much in it. There's a wealth of information that we can use to help us get where we want to be, improve our lives and our circumstances, and just become happier and more fulfilled. So it's not just about becoming rich and generating wealth, though I think we'll certainly be discussing that in this lecture, but it's about living more happier, more fulfilling lives and to help us live more and get more out of ourselves and our talents and abilities so we can live a better life. But to do that, there is a starting point. So I want to start with an excerpt from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich when he says that the starting point of all achievement then is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results, just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat. So then to begin this transformative process, to begin to improve our circumstances, it all starts with desire. We have to want something. This is not an intellectual exercise. When we hear the word desire, there's an emotion behind it. There's an emotional attachment to what it is that we want, whether it's to generate more wealth, better relationships, improved health, improved spirituality, faith, whatever it is that you would like to, whatever aspect of your life you wish to improve on. It all starts with desire. This yearning, this wanting to want to change. If there's no desire, if there's no spark, if there's no fire, then it's very difficult to improve your circumstances. When you look at a lot of professional athletes, when you see the way they perform, the way they talk, and the way they communicate, and the way they carry themselves, the most successful athletes win because they have the desire to do so. They want to win. It's almost to the point of an obsession. So if you wish to achieve and overcome your circumstances and accomplish specific goals and just improve your life, it all starts with desire. And Neville Goddard comes to mind, where feeling is the secret, where we feel what we want is already in the present moment. What we desire is already here. Because the more emotion we inject into our goals and desires, where we feel that what we want is possible, the new experiences and new possibilities begin to emerge in our lives or reveal themselves because we reshift our focus. And we're also going to be discussing focus in this lecture as well. Because this isn't a passive exercise. This requires some work to reshift our focus in controlling our thoughts so we can master our destiny. So as Napoleon Hill says, that you are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be. A profound statement by Napoleon Hill from Think and Grow Rich. Again, a lot to unpack just in this small statement. Because when you begin to realize that you are the master of your destiny, you can influence and direct and control your environment. That is life-changing. So regardless of where you are in your life right now, you can mold it to where you want it to be or how you would like it or wish it to be. That doesn't mean you can control every single circumstance that's occurring outside of your environment. You can't control everything, of course. There are things outside of your circumstances you have no control over. But you can control your reaction to it. And when you can begin to master your emotions, where you're no longer at bay or succumb to the circumstances of your external environment, you can begin then controlling your thoughts and your pretty much your internal mechanism or your mental processes of how your mind operates. And Charlie Munger discusses this in his obsession with mental models, or how he stresses the importance of focusing on developing a mental model of how to achieve a particular goal, which I think Napoleon Hill really hits on in Think Grow Rich, it's developing a mental model of abundance and success. And that starts with desire and recognizing that through this desire, you can master your destiny and influence and control your environment. So then Napoleon Hill says that first comes thought, then organization of that thought into ideas and plans, then transformation of those plans into reality. The beginning, as you will observe, is in your imagination. It all starts with imagination. And as I said, it means not being a passive observer, but harnessing the power of your imagination to visualize what it is you want to see brought forth into your personal reality. What do you want to do? Who do you want to become? What do you wish your life to look like? Perhaps it's having a specific career, making a certain amount of money, creating value for customers and for society. Perhaps there's certain relationships that you wish to have, whether romantic or professional. Maybe you want to achieve a certain health. Maybe you want to lose weight. You want to get in better shape, whatever that may be. It all starts with imagination. And within the imagination, we want to observe and become self aware then of the mental processes that yield specific results. That's through self awareness or metacognition. We begin to think about how we're thinking. And once we become self aware that perhaps our current thought processes are not yielding us the results we wish, then we need to begin to change that. And that goes back to desire. We want to have the desire to change. We reach a point that we can no longer tolerate our current circumstances and we have to change. And Tony Robbins talks a lot about this in his work in Awaken the Giant Within, where we leverage pain and pleasure. Most of our actions are about reducing pain and maximizing pleasure. So when we reach a point where we can no longer tolerate the pain of our current circumstances, we are then forced to change. So it's that desire of change and harnessing the power of the imagination that is the jet fuel to begin making new choices and decisions to bring about that change. So Hill says that before success comes in any man's life, he is sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failure. When defeat overtakes a man, the easiest and most logical thing to do is to quit. That is exactly what the majority of men do. More than 500 of the most successful men in this country has ever known told the author the greatest success came just one step beyond the point at which defeat had overtaken them. Chances are, if you're listening to this, you've experienced heartache, disappointment, setbacks, failure, as all of us have. I've had experienced many setbacks throughout my life and my career. And what makes Napoleon Hill's work so important is that regardless of where you are right now, at this very moment, you can change. You can turn your life around in an instant by simply recognizing that, again, you have that power to master your destiny through your thoughts and actions, and that you're tapping into this unused power. You can call it an intelligence if you subscribe to faith and believe in God. God is not just an entity, rather, it's an intelligence or an energy that if you begin to recognize and communicate with through prayer, then through prayer and through that recognition that you have the power to master your destiny, that's when things begin to change. Just by listening to this lecture alone can be the turnaround point in your life and recognizing you have the power within you to master your destiny. No matter how many times you have failed or attempted to overcome whatever circumstance you're experiencing right now. Incredibly important, incredibly powerful to recognize this. So Hill then says that there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. Open-mindedness is essential for belief. What discourages a lot of people is that perhaps they begin to change their life through changing their thoughts and their habits, and they begin to take action direction where they want to go, and they don't see results right away. And they get discouraged and they want to quit. Now, part of the reason why perhaps you're not seeing the kind of results you wish to have in your life is that we can't predict when a particular outcome is going to occur. And also because perhaps our beliefs still aren't aligned with what it is that we wish to see brought forth in our lives. So when we begin to work on our state of mind by changing our beliefs through affirmations, and Napoleon Hill discusses this in Think and Grow Rich, how affirmations and self and autosuggestion, where through repetitive thoughts and behaviors, empowering repetitive thoughts and behaviors for that matter, can reshape our beliefs for the better. That's why meditation, prayer, journaling is are vital exercises in this process because again they help reshift our focus to more empowering thoughts and behaviors that can help us achieve whatever it is that we wish. And through that process, it changes our beliefs to more empowering ones. Chances are that many of us harbor self limiting beliefs that hold us back. And as I said, once we recognize this, then we can begin to change for the better. There are no limitations to the mind except those that we acknowledge. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. So, by mastering your destiny, you recognize that you have no limitations in your mind. You can imagine new horizons, imagine whatever it is that you wish. And that ultimately, it's not something out there that is holding you back. Rather, it is your own self limiting beliefs. It is you. And that doesn't mean that you're being self critical or that you're blaming yourself. I want to make that very clear. But that it is simply recognizing that you have, again, the power to master your destiny. And that when you conquer yourself and your self limiting beliefs, you can overcome. And then all of a sudden, life reveals itself to you. You begin to recognize new opportunities and experiences that weren't there before. And then life becomes much more exciting. And then things start to happen where you get into that flow state that I've discussed in many of my lectures previously, where you're in the zone, that you're not worried about the future or living in the past, that you're in the present moment right now. And when we live in the present moment, that's when there's truly no limitations to the mind. We can think and choose as we wish in more empowering ways. So, a genius then is simply one who has taken full possession of his own mind and directed it toward objectives of his own choosing, without permitting outside influences to discourage or mislead him. This is important because all of us, I believe, can harbor our own or harness our own genius when we begin to take possession of our own mind. The most successful people in any field, whether in politics, business, sports, the sciences, academics, whoever they may be, are successful and appear to be geniuses because they've learned how to master their own mind, or more specifically, they know how to control their mind and focus on what it is that we want. And it was Earl Nightingale, and I've quoted this excerpt from Earl Nightingale from The Strangest Secret many times. Okay, you are what you think about. You are what you think about all day long. And if we simply let our minds run havoc, where we just allow these mental processes of negative thoughts to run rampant in our mind over and over again without some sort of self control, then we have a hard time taking possession of our own mind and directing it in more empowering ways to improve our circumstances. And a genius is also somebody that does not allow the outside world to influence what is going on in their internal environment. Because, for example, in the realm of entrepreneurship, all entrepreneurs started with an idea. There was nothing outside their external environment to validate that what they wanted to accomplish in their business was possible. It all starts with an idea. So when you recognize this, when you have an idea for how you want to live your life, there's nothing necessarily in your external environment to validate that. But when we cultivate and harness this idea over time through emotion, believing that what we want is already in the present moment, and begin making new choices and decisions without fear of failure, that's when we truly become a genius. So Hill then says, and this is actually from his book, Outwitting the Devil, The Secret to Freedom and Success. He says that remember your dominating thoughts attract through a definite law of nature by the shortest and most convenient route. Their physical counterpart, be careful what your thoughts will dwell upon. So again, it reinforces what I've been saying, that your thoughts, the way you think, what you focus on, will manifest itself in its physical counterpart one way or the other. So, recognizing that what you think about can determine your destiny. So, it makes sense then that we really need to become very self aware of what thoughts we entertain on a daily basis. Doesn't mean we try to force a new thought, but it's recognizing that if we have a particular thought that's limiting in nature, we don't try to fight it, we recognize it for what it is and let it go. And actually, through this process, we no longer empower these negative thoughts and we make room for new, more empowering ideas. So it's the process of letting go, not allowing these negative thoughts to impair our ability to think and act in new ways that can help improve our lives. So Hill says then that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve, regardless of how many times you may have failed in the past or how lofty your aims and hopes may be. There is no substitute for persistence. The person who makes persistence his watchword discovers that old man failure finally becomes tired and makes his departure. Failure cannot cope with persistence. So, as I said before, no matter how many times you have failed, at this very moment, you can change your life instantly in a moment by making the decision through desire and passion and imagination that you are going to change and that you undoubtedly will face challenges in this process of self transformation. But through persistence, if you stick with it and don't allow your self limiting beliefs or setbacks to hold you back, if you stay persistent with this, I promise you, you will see changes. Your life will improve and get better. But it starts with being persistent with this exercise. As I said, this is not an intellectual exercise. This is not something that you should think too hard about. We all know what it is that we want, and we have to be honest with ourselves about that. And when we become honest with ourselves of what it is that we really wish to have in our lives, eliminate the shame behind that, then the persistence will pay off. And as I said several times, life will reveal itself to you. So success in life then depends upon happiness, and happiness is found in no other way than through service that is rendered in a spirit of love. So if, for example, you wish to become a successful entrepreneur and generate vast amounts of wealth, which is a wonderful goal to have, to do that, you must be of service to others. The most successful entrepreneurs are wealthy because they create a business that provides products and services that alleviate either a pain point for customers or are of service to others. Amazon is a very good example. Look at all the services and products and services that Amazon provides to the general public. And that is why Amazon is so successful. So if you want to be happy, you want to be successful, you want to generate wealth, be of service to others, help others without necessarily thinking about how much money you're going to get in return for that service. If you're of service to mankind through the spirit of love, you will never go hungry again because you'll become invaluable. Because regardless of where you are right now in your life, if you become of service to others, if you're good at solving problems, then you'll be invaluable or you'll be irreplaceable to anyone who wishes to work with you or hire you. So remember, the thoughts that you think and the statements you make regarding yourself determine your mental attitude. If you have a worthwhile objective, find the one reason why you can achieve it rather than hundreds of reasons why you can't. Reinforces what I've been saying throughout this lecture. Be mindful and self-aware of your thoughts and the way you communicate, not just with other people, but with yourself. Be mindful of this. So if you're gossiping about other people, complaining about the economy or your relationships or with politics or whatever that may be, that will manifest itself in its physical equivalent one way or the other. So be careful of your thoughts, the way you communicate with yourself through negative self-chatter. Again, it's self-awareness. Be aware of the way you think and act because your personality shapes your personal reality. So it makes sense that if we wish to change our life or some aspect of our life, we have to make new choices and decisions that will help bring about that change. So if you fill your mind with fear, doubt, and unbelief, in your ability to connect with and use the forces of infinite intelligence, the law of autosuggestion will take the spirit of unbelief and use it as a pattern by which your subconscious mind will translate it into its physical equivalent. I've been pretty persistent with this message. Again, how your thoughts can manifest itself in a physical equivalent in one way, shape, or form. So if your mind is filled with doubt, with fear, with limiting beliefs, that will translate itself in an external environment in some way. But if we use the forces of infinite intelligence being God, faith, the universe, energy, whatever it is you wish to call it, this intelligence that is responsible for the creation of the universe and the world around us, when we communicate with it through the power of autosuggestion, through repetitive thoughts and behaviors that are empowering, loving, positive in nature, then we can begin to see new thought patterns emerge. We begin to think and act in new ways that, again, will translate itself into its physical equivalent. So even if you don't subscribe to, say, the notion of infinite intelligence, we have forces within us that if we tap into through the power of autosuggestion by entertaining new thoughts and visualizations and behaviors, that will translate itself into its physical equivalent one way, shape, or form. So to conclude, Napoleon Hill says that if you must be careless with your possessions, let it be in connection with material things. Your mind is your spiritual estate. Protect and use it with the care to which divine royalty is entitled. You were given all willpower for this purpose. What I find fascinating about this quote, because you see the title for Napoleon Hill's work of Think and Grow Rich, that in his book he talks about generating vast amounts of material wealth, how to get rich, how to make more money, which again is fine, of course. But ultimately, the end game here is the person you become. And now when we just connect ourselves, when our happiness and well-being is connected solely with our acquisition of material possessions, we realize then that even if we get that goal, that money, that person, that thing, whatever that may be, we realize that that's not really what we're after. It was a certain feeling or emotion associated with that. And we begin to see that we have everything that we need right now to live a great life, that at this very moment we can change. Then no longer are we held ransom to our circumstances. And we can begin to make new choices and decisions that can help us transform and overcome whatever it is that we're experiencing. And then we protect our greatest asset, which is our mind. And we cultivate it and we harness it and we use it in empowering ways through the power of imagination and focus and desire. Then we will become unstoppable and we will certainly become the master of our destiny and have an amazing life and hopefully an amazing 2024, whatever year it is that you're listening to this lecture. So thank you so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can watch all my lectures on personal development, wealth building, and creativity. Thank you so much and have a great day. Take care.